Hello, and welcome back to Diamond in the Rough with Lance Lynn sometimes. Lance Lynn is here today. Say hi, Lance.
Hello.
What do you want to talk about today?
I think that's your gig. I just kind of chime in.
I really don't want to talk about baseball, but I feel like we have to briefly because it's been kind of wild.
Yeah.
Let's do it as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Pop off.
As of right now, my...
You were wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yankees in 6 is not going to happen.
Nope. It could have been over last night.
Could have been over last night.
Freddie Freeman.
6 straight homers in a World Series game.
On a different level.
Yes, he is. And
He's
then
been touched by an angel.
He's doing his thing.
Aaron Judge is not doing his thing.
He's struggling a little bit. Yankees showed up last night, scored 11. So we'll see what Game 5 has tonight. I think Cole's going, so that's going to be that should bode well for the Yankees to take it back to Dodger Stadium for Game 6.
Right.
So that's about it.
That's a lot.
But
Going across the country again, that's a lot.
yeah, that's a hike.
What about the fans who were trying to take Mookie's glove off his hand?
Hey, they're diehard. That's what home field advantage is all
Okay,
about.
but that's
right
not
there.
okay.
That's
That
not-
was bad.
That's not
They were
okay
like
at all.
grabbing it. Like, what if they broke his wrist? Could he
I
sue
mean-
them for that?
Yeah, I mean, they could. I mean, they're obviously probably banned from the stadium
They
for
should be. That's
a long
stupid.
time.
Mookie was mad.
Yes, as he should be. I mean,
like Mad Mookie.
he's jumping in the air. He's hanging. Like he could have popped his shoulder out. Could have
That's
all
what I'm
kind of
saying.
weird
It
stuff.
was
So
kind of
that's like what we're talking about. It's like fans are appreciated, but it's like there's a
line that we do not cross, and it feels like common sense. I fear. Don't throw shit at players.
Oh yeah.
Let's not send death threats to people. What else?
Don't grab them
grab
by
the
their
ball.
arm while they're hanging in the air.
I mean, I'm sure there's more that we can think of,
Like
but
years and years ago, it's like 2 fans jumped on the field and tried to were beating up a first base coach like years ago.
how'd that end up?
It didn't go well.
Benches cleared?
I don't know why. I mean, this is before my time, so I remember it being a thing.
How do you get away with that? You're on a team.
go to
The
jail.
team comes
Well, it's
and
like
they beat your
they
ass.
jump
And then
out of
it's-
if they jump out of the stands fast enough and you're at first base, like no one's going to be like you're in the first base coach
you're
box.
gonna have
so
to take a couple
like
licks.
that's the thing is like we love the fans. We love for them to be involved. Boo, cheer, tell the other guys they stink, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
Hey, you have a pretty funny view on like benches being cleared. Like there are some unspoken rules about that, right?
about how to clear the benches.
Like when they clear, everyone has to go.
Oh, you got to go.
No one wants to be the little
Even
bitch
if you
boy who
don't
doesn't.
even if you don't like the teammate that made the benches clear, you got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to be that guy.
You're always in the
there's
back.
There's a
I've
camera.
Witnessed.
There's a camera on the back. Last time the bench cleared in Chicago, I was right in the middle on the mound. It might have been my fault they cleared. I just took off.
What'd you do?
I just started yelling. Next thing I know, I was on the mound.
You're a little chirpy.
I got chirpy that day, yeah. I think Andrew Vaughn got hit up by the head. I don't think the pitcher did it on purpose, but he was talking at him.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was like chirping at him. And then Vaughn had gotten hit like 3 other times that week, not by them, but like it was kind of one of those things where it was like, that's enough. So that's usually how it goes. It's like, it's enough.
It's a build
frustration. Up. Sometimes it's a frustration from another team and then it kind of trickles over and then it's kind of like, oops.
Yeah.
Sorry. We were pissed off of the last team, but you guys are going to get it.
But you can't just sit back and let it happen. You have to.
Unfortunately, obviously you don't want the benches clear. You don't want fights and stuff like that.
Sure about
MLB doesn't. Like fans and stuff kind of enjoy it.
MLB probably low key does though. Don't you think that's like views?
Maybe. I'm going to tell you they're going to, I know we get fined for it, so they don't like it too much.
Like the team gets fined?
Players.
Or the individual players? Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, but you don't want to be the one that doesn't make it out there. Because it will not go well for you in the clubhouse.
Traitor.
That's
Baby.
much traitor.
Pussy.
Like, yeah, it's just like, no, you just don't
Pussy.
you don't have your boys back.
Yeah. Okay. Did we cover everything baseball?
I don't know.
Did I miss anything?
That's pretty much, there's only one series going on right now.
Do what?
There's only one series going on right now.
Yeah.
And nothing else starts until it's over, so.
Okay. Would you like to talk about the Cardinals? You don't have to if you don't want to.
As of right now,
we can edit this out completely, like it never happened.
Nah. I learned yesterday that they're probably not going to pick up my option. So, as 5 days after the World Series is like last game finished, I'll be a free agent. I think that's how it goes, like 5 to 7.
Yeah.
So they'll decline the option and see if anybody wants me.
I want you.
Free agency all over again.
That's a stressful time.
It's like the 8th time in my career, it feels like.
Is it really?
No, but
it's like the
probably 4th.
3rd or 4th. 4th? 3rd? You get traded a lot.
How many times have I been traded?
You were traded from
Minnesota to New York.
Twins to New York, from Texas to Chicago, from Chicago to LA.
So three trades. Free agency. I went to Minnesota in free agency. Went to Texas in free agency. Went back to St. Louis in free agency. So
yeah.
And then signed. Yeah. So this
going back to St. Louis was the quickest
and easiest.
Yeah, that wasn't stressful.
No,
going to the Twins was stressful.
That was a long one. March.
You had 2 weeks of spring training.
Yeah, mid-March sign after like not getting an offer, and I was supposed to be one of the top 4 starting pitching free agencies.
That was a weird year.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things.
I think every year you've seen it. Like last year, there was multiple guys that didn't sign till late. And then, it's just kind of now over time you've learned if you know where you want to be, the ballpark, the number you're looking for money wise,
you can kind of narrow it down yourself.
Yeah. And you can and you take it and go. Cause if they pass you up and someone else takes it, they're not coming back. That's how they work. They, and then, there's certain few guys that can wait it out and pick what they want. And they're the top tier guys. But last year, the top tier guys, it didn't work out for them. So it's like, you kind of...
It's different every year.
When you got something you're okay with, take it.
Weren't they conspiring or something the first year? Is that the word? That's not the word.
That's not the word. I don't know what year's word you could use.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's all kinds of...
I'm going to get myself in trouble, probably.
No, there's all kinds of... I mean, you're looking at each year, right? There's different CBA. There's going to be different taxes on the luxury tax and all that. So every year... teams have different pay models and this and that, how they want to run things. So it's up to your agencies and agents to realize, hey, there's going to be teams that you're thinking are going to spend money and they're going to be locked in on a certain number. It's like the Cardinals this year. It looks like they're going to lower money. So it's like there's free agents that probably would fit there and make them a chance to win now. But if they're trying to lower payroll, that's a team that's off the book for agents. And you probably weren't ever expecting that, because the Cardinals are usually always in the market for upgrading. Yeah. And then it depends on how many other teams are in there. But I will say the wild card situation made a lot of teams more in free agency, like a little bit. It's weird. So now that we didn't talk about baseball very much, what's next?
Yeah. I'm toast after that. Okay. Anyways, so... I've been listening to the people's feedback, and they want to hear more from you and me. So I came up with a game, and it's called the Storytime Game. And we've got this beautiful hat, and it's got topics in it from my friends and family, because I'm not asking anybody any more questions anonymously, because that didn't go well for me last time. So... on each of these, you will pick one, and then whatever story comes to your mind, you have to tell it.
Thanks for the heads up.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Got the corn hat. Is this from the Field of Dreams?
Yep.
It's corn. You want to tell a Field of Dreams story?
I started
because that was crazy too.
That was just crazy. You got a migraine mid-game.
I got a migraine mid-game, and when I get migraines, I lose my vision, and the whole place smelled like a dirty porta potty. And
because you're sitting on top of the porta potties in the stands.
And they only had popcorn and water and beer.
Naturally.
Yeah. So that's the story about that.
Yeah, it was a very cool.
You played well. You played the Yankees.
We pitched against the Yankees there that game.
And then we weren't allowed to go on the field afterwards.
Yeah, they were we ended up making it happen, but it was very...
Yeah, I think we all got in trouble, actually.
Yeah, that was an interesting little skit by them, but...
Yeah. That was kind of a stressful day for you, wasn't it?
I mean, that was a weird one because you've never flown in, and that's the second time I've flown in day of game. Once was the Williamsport for the Little League game.
And you had to drive because
it was like an hour drive.
You're in the middle of a cornfield, literally. That's not a joke.
To the airport, from the airport. So that was an interesting day. And then you had like when you have events like that, even if you're starting that day, usually when you're starting, it's like everybody leaves you alone. You show up whenever you need to do your thing, but you had to like go to the team photo.
You had a lot of press.
You had to press, all that. So like by the time that you're like 2 hours before the game, you're like, I got to pitch in 2 hours. So, but position players have to do it all night.
Yeah.
It's okay. I gave up a couple home runs.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Oh, am I giving one to you?
No.
Oh, I'm doing one for myself.
I mean, there might be one on there that's just for me, but you'll just have to hand it to me.
It says explain a viral moment.
That's perfect for you.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Which viral moment do you want to talk about?
Do I have any viral moments?
You want to know a moment that people send me a lot?
What's that?
When you got hit in the head by...
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah, that was 2017. We just started dating.
Yes.
At that point. Yeah.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah. Do you want to explain that one?
The interview.
You've had a few viral moments over the years.
Interview post game, I think that's what went viral, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you were very obviously concussed.
Maybe.
Very
so I
obviously.
I think who hit that?
You can't remember because you were concussed.
Lorenzo Cain hit it. Yep, Lorenzo Cain hit it. So he hit a backup cutter right down the middle, and then it hit off my head and landed in right center. Mm-hmm. I remember being pissed that I went down. Mm-hmm. Like that I went all the way down. You got
up quick.
Like I couldn't, I kind of just knocked me, made me spin around a little bit. I think it was the third or fourth inning, somewhere around there. I remember. I don't
remember all that.
I think I went.
Kind of crazy. You did.
Ended up pitching 6. Had a decent game. And then I had to go in and take a concussion test. Which
they take a concussion test in spring training at like your base level, and you refused it. So no one would know that if you.
I just said no, thank you.
That's a refusal. Anyways, so there was no baseline for you to compare your concussion results when you did it again.
Right.
So that's why they let you go back out, right?
Well, no, that's like when I was there, it was like, hey, like I knew where I was, what day of week it was, and I was my typical smartass self. So the trainer goes, hey, what day is it? I go, hey, it's 5 days since the last time I pitched. Go away. I'm busy.
Oh my God.
And then his exact words were, he's like, well, what day of week it is? I go, I never know what fucking day of week it is. We play every day. And then he looked at me and was like, well, he seems normal to me. And then, so then I kept pitching.
Well, I was in the stands with Mia and everyone was calling me, and my mom's like, why is he out there again? And I was like, he's an idiot. And Mia goes, don't talk about my dad that way. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then on the way home, you asked me what was for dinner like 5 times in a row. Like we kept having the same conversation over and over and over again.
I wasn't getting the answer I wanted, so I kept asking it until I got mine.
He was concussed. All right. Well, there's that story. You want to do another viral moment? Okay. Here's a couple that come off the top of my head. Slap dick motherfucker is a big one.
Yeah, that kind of just came out.
I have not heard that before or after he said that. Like, I don't know where it came from.
I can tell you where it came from. So when I was younger, my dad and my older brother played men's slow pitch softball. And if you've never been to traveling men's slow pitch softball, you hear some shit. So it was like so where I traveled
makes perfect
when
sense.
I was little, I was at softball complexes with a bunch of grown men drinking beer, playing softball, this and that. Somebody, you're not supposed to hit the middle, and one guy hit the middle, and the pitcher like hit it back at the pitcher. Like,
okay. We learned that from your first viral moment.
Yeah. Pitchers and slow pitch softball and stuff can like get badly hurt. So if a guy hits the middle, it's like you're supposed to say sorry, this and that, and then some guys are just dickheads and they hit the middle, and I don't know who it was, but he hit the middle and the pitcher like caught it and like snapped it off, and he goes, "Nice try, you slapdick motherfucker." Like, and it was like a back, and I was like, that was awesome.
And so you just like stored that in your memory as a 12-year-old. Oh my God.
I was young. I was 10 to 14. I would say.
And it just came out when you were 35.
I mean, I've thought it in my mind, like when you get like the little, like the really little hitters that like crouch down and then they just flick it to left field or whatever, like that barely gets over the infield or like right off the end. I'm like, you slapdick. Yeah.
Would someone who bunts the ball be a slapdick mother?
Nah, it's just
you just don't like bunting.
If that's part of your game and you don't, like you do some things, you're trying to move the runner over or something like that, then I'm cool with it. But there's some people that like to do it, when they think that their home run hitters are superstars and then they know they can't get a hit and then they bunt. Like, then that's just like, oh, now I know you're scared. And I've had people that have bunted on me after striking out like 2 times in a row.
And that makes you mad?
And they're like, like, hey, why'd you bunt? And he's like, well, I didn't want to strike out 3 times in a row. Okay, you're a pussy. Got it.
Okay. All right. Those are some viral moments. I'm going to pick one now. I can't answer this one. This is a hunting story. Would you like to tell a hunting story?
Ooh.
What are you doing with your papers?
I'm just throwing them down. A hunting story. I got one. We had, so we have hunting camp every year. We were out there. We had 5 of us out there. It was the King brothers, Jeff and Gary, your dad, and Cruz.
Back when my dad had free will. Back
when your dad was allowed to hang out with us. So we were all hunting and everyone saw, we got what deer you're looking for. So hunting is weird, right? Nowadays, everyone wants the biggest, like most point bucks, right? So it's like you go out there, you have trail cams, you have this and that. So everyone's like, oh, we're looking for these 2 bucks. That's it.
You go out and test the wind. You're like,
I don't know about that
way.
No, but when you literally look on your app, you know what wind direction it is, you know what stand to stay out of so you don't blow into this food plot. Or
how successful has that been for you though? Because I feel like when you were just like hungover in a stand, you had more success.
Sometimes the best, like my first ever buck kill, I was hungover. I might have pissed off the stand like an hour before, and the buck just came walking right up to me about 50 yards away. And I was like,
you don't choose the buck chooses you.
Sometimes, or it's just right place, right time, right wind, right day, movement pattern. Maybe you'll get one that's hot on a doe and he doesn't smell the hunter in the stand. He's just worried about that.
Getting it in.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Next thing you know, he's dead.
Oh my God.
That's how it goes. But
let that be a reminder to you.
Bingo. Back in the day, when your dad was shooting and we're like, oh, who shot? Right. We're like, hey, well, this is the bucks we're looking for. And your dad was like, me, got a big one. And we're like, oh, nice. You got one. That's awesome. And then, we went down after the sit, got it, threw it in the back of the ATV, and Jeff and Gary called me because I was the furthest away. So it took me the furthest to get back to camp. And they texted me and they're like, dude, he shot a baby. And I was like, what? They're like, he shot a baby.
That's not the first time. I think he gets nervous and he sees something and he's like, oh my God, I gotta shoot.
I think he shoots the first thing he sees.
Yeah, he like gets nervous and like excited and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot it.
He shot, one year he shot like the smallest doe I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I think it might have still had its spots.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay, so don't take Jamie hunting.
No, it's if you want something to, like if you want him to clear out a bunch of doe, he's your guy. Like just get him some nuisance tag and give him a box of bullets. Oh he will take it down. He
also likes to sleep in the deer stand.
Oh, he did. Yeah, the first time we went hunting, he goes, yeah, I woke up and I saw a buck and I couldn't do anything because I was asleep. So yeah, that it is kind of. If you get strapped in there, you get your harness on, every once in a while you doze off. Yeah, in nature, it's peaceful.
Sounds so unsafe and stupid.
That's why you have your harness on. That's why you have all that stuff. Yeah. But it is, you have to be I would be shocked if not every person who's ever hunted has dozed off hunting. It's just sitting there
it's boring and you have to be quiet and it's stupid and it's cold.
Time with yourself and nature. It's not boring. It's peaceful.
Oh, you're meditating then.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe by sleeping, you're so still that buck comes in and then bang.
Oh, so it's like
strategic. It's like a sneak attack on the buck. It's like, camouflage. Oh, no, I'm not here. Dead.
It's camouflage. Blending in with the tree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Start swaying with it. Yeah.
Well, that was enlightening. Thank you for sharing. Let's see. What is this one? Spring training. I would like to talk about this past spring training because it was horrible. Okay, so for the last 5-6 years, we have had spring training in Arizona, and I love Arizona. I've grown to love Arizona so much. Seems like there's a lot of teams out there. I've got a lot of friends out there. All my friends' kids are out there. It's beautiful. It's scenic when you go to the grocery store, right? And then...
It's a desert, but yeah.
It's a beautiful desert.
Yeah, you got your Camelback Mountain, all that good stuff.
Shopping's good.
Once we figured out where to...
Really good.
Once we figured out where to live and all that, Arizona is the easiest spring training place because of all the clubs within 30 minutes of each other. You can stay in one place.
Exactly.
Yeah, very much so.
We have grown to love Arizona very, very much. And you used to live in Jupiter, right? You used to have a house there. You sold it because...
Then once I got done with St. Louis the first time, there's no need for it anymore.
Exactly. So we had to go back to Jupiter, which means we had to find an Airbnb. And everything looks better on the internet. Literally everything, even me. And it looked nice, right?
I mean, it was on sale, I was on the market for...
It was on the water.
Very high price tag.
Enough bedrooms for all of our 47 children.
Yes.
We got there that night, and the realtor lady was like, hey, the fridge doesn't work. And I just ordered all these groceries. Freezer. Yeah. And like my kids like frozen fruit and like those peanut butter sandwiches and popsicles and all these things. And I had already had them like delivered.
Yeah.
Like they were en route so that we could like snack before bed and all that stuff. Cause we got them pretty late. So the freezer was broken, right? Then the next morning we wake up to the whole entire living room being completely flooded.
Yep. That downstairs half bath was leaking water out of the walls. Something happened.
Yes. So then you called the realtor and she was like, did you use the bathtub? And we're like, no.
No, but are we not allowed to use the bathtub?
Not allowed to use it?
Didn't know that either.
Yes. So then they had to come. They're cutting holes in the wall. Judge is like just learned how to walk. So he's into everything.
We got 3 kids, 5 and under, with holes in the wall with pipes exposed.
Yes. Men coming in and out. And they're saying like, oh, we'll be back on Thursday, which is like 2 days later. So we have a gaping hole in our wall and our floors are starting to buckle. So they ended up having to turn the water off on half the house, which was the half of the house that the washer and dryer was on. And then my whole entire family proceeded to get the stomach flu.
Yes.
And I had no washer or dryer to wash anything.
For 4 days.
For a while. And everyone's like, we'll take it to the laundromat. And I'm like, you want me to take these shitty sheets and all of my sick kids to a laundromat all day long? Like I was sick.
I was the only one that didn't get sick.
Rumor kept like waking up in the middle of the night and like puking everywhere.
Projectiling. It was gross.
It was a shitty situation.
It was nasty.
And then something else happened too. What was it? Lively broke her wrist like the day before her 5th birthday.
She did. She broke her wrist literally just running.
Yeah.
She was at a skate park. She's at a skate park, so she got a scooter. So she's like, "Oh, cool. We got her helmet. We had all the pads on. We had everything." Bam! She was running and then just did the buckle fracture, whatever they call that, where she just caught herself. And we're like, you know, typical dad. I was like, I think you're fine, and she was like, couldn't move it. I was like,
yeah.
So we went and got that fixed. We had a little brace there, so she had a brace on for 4 weeks.
Yeah, she was miserable. She was really upset about it. And then the guy that came to fix the fridge, he was there for all day long till like 1:30 in the morning trying to fix the fridge. Remember that? That was really awkward.
I was like, hey, I would like to go to bed. I got to be at spring training at 7 a.m. So I'm sitting there watching him fix the fridge.
Yeah. It was so
like,
awkward.
I was like, yeah, that's why I'm still downstairs.
Yeah. It was just like everything that could have gone wrong definitely went wrong. By the end of our stay, our floors had buckled. There was like a huge bump in our floor that we would literally trip on because of so much water under the floor. And we were sick the whole time. So I have no doubt in my mind there was like a mold issue. I was like, I'm going home. I'm not coming back ever again.
It was that was our hands down our worst house.
That was probably our worst house. We've had other weird houses because a lot of times you stay in people's homes and they don't like take out their personal items or
their pictures on the wall.
There's like pictures. That. Yeah. Our first year in Arizona, I'm pregnant with Lively and we were at this one house and they had the biggest freaking family photo in the middle of the room. And it was one of those things where it's like, no matter where you were, you could see it. And it was like, they were like looking at you.
Moving with it.
And that's not bad. Like it was a nice house and all that stuff, but it feels like you're living in somebody else's home. She also had like 12 houseplants and she had very specific instructions on how to water them every Sunday. So here I am like waddling around, literally 9 months pregnant. And it's like, this one gets a half a cup of water. Don't give it any more than that. And this one gets a cup and a half of water. And like, you don't have to water this one. But if you don't, if it starts to turn brown, I'm like, oh my God. I was so scared I was going to kill that lady's plants.
I think we killed one.
And sorry, the next door neighbor, Jim. It's always a Jim. I'm just going to say it. How many Jim stories do we have of Jims just like all over the country?
Yeah.
We got a couple. This could go on and on. Actually, I'm thinking of more Jims.
Oh, man.
But the Jim, he was kind of infatuated with you. Like he wouldn't come over and talk to me, but he would always like see you out and be like, hey buddy, da da. Well, one day he came to the door and he was like, hey, it looks like, again, I'm pregnant. He's like, hey, looks like you're about to pop. Don't forget to put towels down on the seats. And I was like, Jim, go home.
Yep, he did say that. He was like, yeah, really awkward. Nice cars. You should probably put towels on the seats for you. I was like, thanks, Jim.
How gross is that to even think about? So yeah.
Yeah, he's very.
That's my spring training story. One of them.
That's a couple.
That's a couple, but they were memorable.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. You want to pick another?
All right. Let's see what we have here. What's this?
More behind the scenes baseball.
Oh, that's BTS means behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to know what story I want to tell?
No. What do you want to?
Well then. The very first road trip I ever went on with you. Do you remember it?
New York.
Yes.
All the places all comes back to New York.
That's so weird. I'll start. So Lance and I met in January, right? Mm-hmm. And it was literally 2 days before you were moving back to Florida.
Yeah, heading to
doing spring training. We were talking the whole entire time. Like our texts turned into phone calls and our phone calls turned into FaceTimes and we were just having so much fun, right? Mm-hmm. Did I visit you? I even visited one time.
Yeah, I think your whole family came. Well, you came to, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So by the time you got back to St. Louis, we hung out when you first got back, right? Mm-hmm. Which is when, April? Mm-hmm. So we'd hung out like 3 or 4 times total at this point, but had been talking for months. Yes. And one day you call me and you're like, hey, we got a road trip in New York coming up and I'd really like to fly you out. And I was like, oh my God.
It was Easter Sunday, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. I was like, absolutely. I'd love to. But what you didn't know about me and what these people don't know about me is that my whole life I've been terrified of airplanes and airports and New York City. Okay? So internally, I'm like freaking out.
I didn't know any of
that. Why would I tell you that? That's lame. I was 22, 23?
Yeah, 23.
And I'm like terrified, right? I'm really just was terrified of airports because I kept thinking like the intrusive thoughts in my brain were like, you're not going to know where to go and no one's going to help you get there. So I was like tweaking it. Like, I didn't want to look like a loser. So I didn't want to like ask for help if I were lost. I don't know. I guess I saw that movie. What's that movie with Tom Hanks?
Terminal?
Yeah. I don't know if that
he was
scarred
a
me.
foreigner with no passport and no, like,
See, that could have been me. But do you ever do that? Like when you're in the security line and you're like, oh shit, they're going to find my gun. And you know that you don't have one, but you're like, they're going to find something and then you're in trouble. Do you ever feel that way?
No.
Just me? Okay.
Yes.
Moving right along. That's how I felt about airplanes. And then I always thought I was going to be. No, I know. That's what is so stressful about the situation, because it would be like, it's not mine. And then I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, so I'd always wanted to go to New York. And so when I was 14 years old, like the summer before high school, my mom and grandma were like, we're going to take you to New York. And I spent a whole day in bed because I was so anxious. I had made myself sick because I fear that anxiety has controlled a lot of my life over the years. So anyways, not only was I going to have to brave the airport, navigate New York City by myself, but I'm supposed to jump into the arms of a man that I've hung out with 3 times. And you want to know another intrusive thought that I kept having? I was worried. I was like concerned about the poop situation. Like, what if I had to poop and we were in the same hotel room? Like, is that valid?
I was like, oh, I left my
Did you feel that way too?
I left my toothbrush. I need to go down to the front desk.
Oh, so you've done this before.
Oh, that's an easy one.
That's not easy. So that, I'm thinking of all of these things, right? So I was just a big ball of nerves coming to New York. And for someone who is so scared about having to go to the bathroom, you took me to Pogo de Chao, which is a Brazilian steakhouse.
Yep, that's a tough one.
And if you don't know anything about a Brazilian steakhouse, they just send over skewers of meat.
Yeah.
Like chicken and lamb and pork and steak and all these things.
There's some questionable meats on a stick, yeah.
Yeah, and it was great and it was awesome. But that was our first official date.
Yeah, and then New York on Easter Sunday we saw some very interesting people walking down to...
there was a big parade, an Easter parade on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a very... that's the first time like, New York is crazy, like, especially when they have stuff going on, but, like, walking the streets and stuff. I think they had, one of them streets closed going down to Central Park and stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was
a nice parade, though. It wasn't like nothing weird happened.
Yeah.
Everyone was in pastels.
Yeah. Is that what?
Yeah. There was, like, Easter bunnies and kids with Easter baskets.
Yeah. They were they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So.
It was cool. We're missing a big part, too.
What's that?
I was a weirdo the whole entire time. Did you forget about that?
Nah, I mean, it's your first, well, now that obviously later
in retrospect,
you told me about, like, oh, hey, I hate New York and I hate traveling.
Well, then I met some of your friends too.
Yeah. And that was the first time you met.
One of them was absolutely horrific and kind of altered my brain chemistry after that encounter. And then the next day I just kind of wanted to go home so bad. Like, I hardly spoke. I don't know. I was just in an anxious state of mind. I was like, everyone hates me and I have to go home now.
Yeah. And that was a tough first trip.
Yeah.
But we made it through.
It's a tough first year.
Yeah. But we made it through.
We'll get into that another time. But yeah. So that's the behind the scenes.
That's one of
that's a good one. I don't think I've ever told anyone that story either.
No. I mean, you told me.
Like, actively in it at that moment, I was texting people like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm stuck in New York City and I hate this place.
I didn't hate you, though. I made you try a falafel.
Because that was awful.
Well, I went to Israel, so I was like, I've been to Israel. We should try a falafel, street meat falafel. And you're like, okay, whatever. And then you hated it, and I was embarrassed. And then the whole room smelled like a falafel for the rest of the time. So...
Well, that night, yeah. But it was not the best falafel. I've never had a good falafel. Don't get me wrong. Israel. Yeah, but yeah, you were like, oh, you're gonna.
I was gassing it up. I was like, oh my gosh, I've eaten 1 million of these because I'm so cultured. And then I don't even think I liked it. I was like, yeah, sorry about
that. For like a week, but New York City just tore you up in 48 hours.
Literally. For real. Oh my God, that's so funny. All right, pick another one.
All righty. Farm life. This is you.
Farm life. Okay.
I only get stuck with feeding the animals when you got something to do.
Which has been like a total of 3 times.
Exactly.
Okay.
I didn't say it was like a... Well, don't let it become a thing.
Oh, I have a funny story. Okay. So if you are into farming, like I am...
You just have animals.
Yeah, whatever. There are
you have a pet
Facebook pages where people like sell animals, right? So I'm all over these pages. I've been looking for goats forever. Like I've wanted them all summer.
Yeah, you tried to get me to buy 2 on the front steps of Busch Stadium.
I did. I was going to name them Lou and Bush, and you didn't bring them back.
Oh, how the hell am I got to play a game in 45 minutes, and I'm driving. I don't even have a thing to put them in for the game.
All right, tell me you don't care about me without telling me you don't care about me. Anyways,
I'm telling you so
we got a goat shed. It took months and months for us to build a fence, okay? Because I don't know, it took forever, but like the way that I've been searching for goats and wanted them so badly, and I found 2 really adorable dwarf pygmy goats that were an hour away. So I pack up all my kids. I get my grandpa with me because he's my animal enabler. He's like, let's go. I got the cage in the back.
Yeah, he just showed up with pigeons one day.
Yeah, he does show up with things sometimes. So we drive an hour away, get these goats, and they're way smaller than I think that they are. Okay. They're like the size of like a puppy dog, like teeny tiny. I had no idea that they were that small. So we get them back, and I'm so excited to put them in their little pen because I'm so proud of my little pen, and I feel like I'm a big girl now, okay? Put this goat inside, and within literally 15 seconds of her little hooves being on the ground, she finds a way to escape. And if you don't know how fast a goat is, goats are so fast. And I take off running after this goat. And honestly, it's kind of insulting because not only does it like run super fast, it'll just start hopping in the middle of it. So it's like literally hopping down the road away from me faster than I can even run. Okay. And I haven't ran in years. So this is like, I'm about to die. So then my grandpa gets involved, and he's 75 years old, and he is dog cussing me like I'm the dumbest person alive. I really never thought we'd speak again after we caught these goats. And it took us 3 hours to catch one goat. And then somehow, some way, the other one came back to its sister, and I was able to catch that one. And
next morning.
Yeah, the next morning, I thought for sure, I didn't even sleep. I was like, it is being eaten. It's gonna have a traumatic life.
It was just laying right next to the other one through the fence.
Yeah. And the girl who sold it to me was like, hey, I'm only gonna like sell these to you if you really take care of them. I was distraught. I was like, I'm gonna have to tell this woman that I didn't even have these goats for 30 seconds and they're already gone.
Yeah.
And now we have them. And after 3 tubs of animal crackers, they finally like me.
They're getting there.
They're getting there. Yeah. So that's my funny farm story.
Yeah.
I wish you would have been there for that. You would have hated me too. Oh my God.
I would not have went after one of them.
Danny Johnson just cussing me out. He thought we were all so stupid.
Who grabbed the pool strainer like it was going to stop one of those?
Listen, you weren't there, so shut the hell up. I tried to throw a blanket over it because they were too fast to catch the skimmer.
There's like the pool
net?
The net like for the skimmer off.
Okay, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
That was you?
Listen.
I was just asking.
You want me to go let one loose and go catch it?
Oh no, it will come back.
No, if that ever happens again, I swear to God.
If it wants to come back, it will come back. I'll
be like, have fun in the wild. Be a wild goat now.
They always come back where they know where they get fed.
They like me now, so I really think I could catch them with animal crackers, but that was a very traumatic experience.
I remember hearing about it. I was laughing.
The despair that I felt. I was like,
you're so mad
I was truly heartbroken.
You're so mad at me for laughing. You're like, what if they get bad coyotes? I was like, then the coyotes are going to have a good dinner.
My God.
I don't know what to tell you.
That was so horrible. All right. That's my story. What is this one? This is our last little card. Motherhood.
I can't speak on this one.
Motherhood. Y'all want to know about the time I woke up and found myself pregnant with this man's baby? This is not fake, but it was at a Great Wolf Lodge somewhere in Minnesota.
That's right.
It was days after my 25th birthday. And
it was All-Star break that year, right? Give or take, right around there.
All-Star break's like in July.
Yeah. I want to tell you it was...
Mia was with us.
Yeah.
And...
We're the Dukes.
We were with the Dukes.
The Great Wolf Lodge in Minnesota.
The Great Wolf Lodge.
I could have swore it was All-Star break because we were all there.
It was after my birthday, so I know it wasn't. It was like June 18th.
Okay.
Or something. It was just a couple days after. Anyways, I was supposed... Can we talk about periods on here? We're all adults.
That's just a you thing.
Okay. I was supposed to start my period like on my birthday, and I didn't do it, right? And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But I kept feeling like I was going to. Okay. So I was like, well, I can't go belly first down a freaking water slide if I'm with child. So I'll pick up a pregnancy test. And I had no idea that thing was going to say it was positive, right? And then me and you had like literally 30 seconds in the bathroom because Mia's in the other room.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go.
Like we're literally gonna go down water slides, and it was positive, and you like hugged me, and then we never talked about it again for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I was like, hey, awesome, we gotta go though.
Yeah. So
yeah, the timing was tough on that one.
But it was like I needed to kind of know.
Yep.
I mean, I was scared, and then I think Kristen was like peeved at me because I would always run away to the cabana because I'm like Googling everything at this point, right? I've become a completely different person in this time between walking from the bathroom to downstairs. So, and I texted my mom and grandma immediately, and then my whole family knew within 20 minutes. So I was pissed off about that. But I kept hiding in the cabana because I was like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm allowed to do. And then she was like, oh, here's Dymin hiding out. And I was like, Kristen, give me a break.
I think you had to tell her, didn't you? Or
that night, everyone was drinking wine. And I was like, oh, I'm okay. And they were like,
she's like, ah.
Yeah, so.
She's like, now I get it.
Yeah. So that's the story on that. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to tell the story about giving birth too, because that was quite a journey too, an experience.
I thought you did great.
Yeah, no, I crushed it. I'm really good at birthing kids, but that's not what I'm talking about. You were not yet. Honestly, little livelies in my belly went everywhere because I found out I was pregnant in Minnesota. And then 2 weeks later, you got traded to the Yankees. So we lived in New York for a while. I had to find a new doctor in New York for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Basically, people all over the United States of America has seen my like nether bits because I'm chasing you around and I'm pregnant everywhere. So I had a doctor in Minnesota.
It's just where everybody's been born too.
Yeah. Went to New York, found a doctor there. And they screwed everything up. They were kind of terrible there.
That was a weird one.
Yeah.
Good thing it was early enough in the pregnancy, so it wasn't like we didn't have to like. Yeah. It wasn't too crazy.
Yeah. Then we lived in Tennessee at the time, and that was our first off season living in Tennessee.
So yeah, we'd find all new stuff down there.
So I had to find a doctor there, and then you didn't have a job.
Ooh.
You were a free agent after that. So I don't even remember when you found out that you were going to Texas, but as soon as you did, that was
mid-January maybe, or mid-December, end of December. I think
something like that.
I think it was it's like second week of December. We knew before Christmas.
Yes.
So we knew Texas was.
Yes, and I was supposed to give birth in February.
Yes.
But I couldn't fly after a certain time, so we had to go in January to Arizona because that's where spring training was. And you found a doctor for me because you asked around all the guys. I didn't know anybody.
The team, yeah, because one of the trainers lived down there, so his wife was his wife's doctor.
Got this doctor, had everything set up like well in advance to go at the end of January and start whatever. So I go. And I do not meet the doctor right away, which I'm kind of like, well, that's weird. Remember this whole drama?
Hey, we're a month out here. Why are we not meeting the doctor right away?
Yes. Okay. So I met like his PA or whatever, did the thing. And like when you're in your last month of pregnancy, you go every week because they check you, see, how far along, all that gross stuff. And then, so I didn't initially meet the doctor. And then the next time I went, it was like literally 2 weeks till my due date. And this woman goes, hey, the doctor, I'm literally at the doctor's office. And she's like, hey, the doctor can't see you today. Are you okay with seeing this person? And also you have to pay this bill before we could even do anything anymore. And I was like she wanted to pay for like the hospital, something weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, hi, yeah. Like, this is probably the only time I've ever stood up for myself ever. I was like, hi, yeah. No, I haven't met this doctor yet. And if I don't meet him today, I'm going to find a new one because my due date is in 2 weeks. And like, this is scary for me. And I'm not paying anything until I like meet this doctor or I'm going to find a new one. Guess who was there?
He was there the whole time.
5 minutes later, he walks out and he's like, hi, it's so nice to meet you. And I was like, this son of a bitch. So yeah. It was very stressful. And my family wasn't there for any of it.
No, they didn't get there.
They came after.
Yeah, I remember you went to the hospital that morning. And then I was at the field and you're like, hey, might want to head this way.
And then I had a Hollywood water break too.
Yeah, Ronan.
You panicked. I've never seen you panic in my life.
There's stuff everywhere.
Like, help! Help! She needs help. She's wet.
You did it in the middle of the hallway, all over your Uggs. It was disgusting.
I did. It was disgusting. And then 3 weeks after that, we moved to Texas and the season started.
That was crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I started hating you.
Yeah.
Because I was like breastfeeding and you weren't. And I would literally be up 4 times a night with Lively and you would just be sleeping soundly. And I would look at you and I'd be like, I just want to fill a pillowcase full of bars of soap and beat the shit out of you. I really hated you so much. I was so tired.
We learned from that one how I could help with feeding.
Yeah, it's called formula.
True. Yeah.
But we did learn from that one.
That's crazy. Every kid was born in a different state.
Yep. Lively in Arizona, Rumor in Tennessee, and Judge in Illinois.
Yeah. Rumor was born.
Yep. And Mia was a spring training baby too.
She was in Florida.
She didn't come out of me though.
Yeah. That was, so kids everywhere.
How was your introduction into parenthood?
For the guys, it's really easy.
No, I'm well aware. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much all you got to do is have a good set of hands for when it comes out, be able to clip the umbilical cord. You
didn't even want to do that.
Ain't nobody trying to see that.
It's kind of weird. It's a weird feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
No one wants to see that. What are you talking
about?
Well,
like, as in, like, when you see the head come out, wow. That's not something like when you're growing up, you're like, hey, you'd be like,
you should feel it.
Right. Well, you should feel it too. You're so drugged up, you probably didn't even feel it.
No, 10 out of 10 recommend an epidural, 100%. Yeah. Lance was okay when Rumor was being born in Tennessee. Lance is watching The Purge.
No, I wasn't.
Yes,
we were joking about it because it was
on TV. It was like the only movie on TV.
True, it was the only movie on TV because somehow during COVID, only The Purge was on. Kind of weird, right? COVID's going on. Nobody was allowed in the streets, but Purge is playing all day, every day.
It was kind of weird because wasn't there like a Trump rally there too?
I don't know what was going on. We had to get COVID tests just to go into a hospital and wear a mask all day. So
yeah, I remember being like, I don't know, things were getting kind of crazy, weren't they? Like not only was it
still in like we're towards the.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I think like there was some political rally and I was like, dang, we're at a hospital. This might be a scary place to be.
No, man, but The Purge was on all day.
Yeah. So that's what we watched.
6 of them, I think. Because it ran all day.
Yeah.
It was a different one.
Yeah, and you kept it on. I have photos, so you can't lie about this one.
Yeah. Just getting you ready. Getting your mind ready to push that baby out.
Yep. And I did it like a queen, like the queen I am.
Very much so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's the end of our, isn't it?
Yep. I don't see any more in there.
Farm life. Yeah, no, that's the end of all our story times. Is there any stories that you can think of right now?
No, not off the top of my head.
Well, I kind of want your opinion on some things.
That's a first.
It is. What did you think about me when we were in New York? Were you nervous too?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, you're like the first trip with someone, something like that. I didn't. If for all those things that which I've learned now, not now, but over the years that was going on, you did a really good job of playing it off, which I've told you in the past. So,
that's a scary time.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I remember, like, because I'm, obviously when you're from Midwest and stuff like that, new cities, new travel and stuff like that. I've had the same like I didn't go on a lot of airplanes growing up and stuff. So like when I went on airplanes in college and started traveling and stuff like that, that was a weird.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah. And
I think that was the first time I've ever traveled by myself.
Yeah. And that's a weird one. And then it's like, and then I think like for me, I went, going from Indiana to Ole Miss, it was like an 8-hour drive. So that was like, and then when you're at Ole Miss, you have to travel a little bit with baseball and stuff like that. Where before I was like, I traveled a little bit, but it was all drivable. Never really had to be on an airplane. Only one time ever I had to be on an airplane. I had to go to LA for a showcase, area code showcase. So that was the first time I traveled. I was with my dad and my grandma. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're looking at like, hey, I'm going to New York. I am flying into O'Hare. I gotta figure out how to get to Manhattan, and this and that. It's definitely a interesting.
Then hang out with a bunch of people I didn't know. Jay thought I was such a weirdo,
right?
Didn't you, Jay? Yeah. Jay listens to the podcast. Yeah, but
Jay did a good job taking care of you.
He thought I was I didn't talk. Yeah. I remember like we went to a...
Now you talk to Jay more than Jay talks to me. So
I know.
If anyone was wondering, Jay's been my pitching coach since I was 12 years old. So does all my off-season stuff. He's Uncle Bubba to the kids. He
Bubba.
Brings some toys and
Candy.
So
but the night before we met him again, we met a staff member that was a friend of yours and their significant other, and that person was so mean to me the whole entire time. And so the next morning you're like, all right, now we got to go meet Jay. And I was like, I don't want to meet any more people. I'm like, my ego is bruised. Everybody hates me.
Yeah. You got thrown into the fire.
I'm not supposed to speak unless I'm spoken to.
You got thrown in the fire. That was my fault.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, like you got thrown into a whole new situation, whole new everything with pretty much my whole past life around too. So that's a tough one.
It was. It really was.
Came out stronger.
It altered my brain chemistry. I'm literally not lying. Like my lobes, my brain is not the same. I'm being so serious. Yeah. We'll talk about that another time.
So that's the craziness of life in baseball and.
But with Jay, I didn't speak. Remember, we're at like normally people would be like, "How are you?" Like, "Where are you from? What's your favorite color?" And I was like eating this burger, and I'm like, "Please don't talk to me."
Too.
I was hungover, and I'm like, "Please don't talk to me. Please don't be mean to me." And everyone's just kind of looking at me like, "Is this bitch okay?" Yeah, I'm like, "No, actually, I'm not mentally well."
Alone
and all I've been doing this whole trip is eating a bunch of meat. I got the meat sweats and a hangover and a bruised ego.
Oh man.
Oh my God. It's kind of amazing that we've been together 7 years.
I don't know, I'm gonna fly back.
Yeah. And then I don't really remember anything else after got back.
Yeah. Made it work.
We did. Here we are.
That's crazy.
Well, since you brought up Ole Miss, I want to bring up Ole Miss and then we'll probably stop talking. But we're going next weekend.
We are. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss, Georgia in Oxford. I don't know the game time yet. It says wear red. Yeah. You got your red ready?
No, not at all.
Ready? I'm probably going to wear a polo shirt and a backwards hat.
You don't say. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
shocking.
A pair of jeans and boots.
Yeah. I'm excited to go. This is the first time I've ever been.
To the Grove.
You haven't been in a really long time.
8,
since
9
you've been
years.
With me.
It's been maybe 8, 9 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Lance has a whole sports complex named after him.
I don't know if it's the whole complex, but inside the baseball complex, they have a pitching indoor thing. That's the Lance Lynn pitching indoor, I think is what it's called.
They should change it to Pookie's.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Old Pookie went to Ole Miss. Did you know?
That's right.
So you're not the coolest person that's ever been.
I never said I was.
Okay. I'm a little nervous to go.
Why? Never been to SEC tailgate?
No, it's not you. Okay. I'm not one of those people who gets like pissed off that you have like a whole past life, right? I don't care. I've had a life too. A fun one. So the problem is that there are some people in the world who like, if they have one shared memory with you, that's their way to connect with you in that moment, and they can't not share it, no matter how appropriate or inappropriate it is. So like the amount of people who so badly like want to be like, hey, remember me? You were so drunk at that tailgate and you were trying to take home like 3 chicks. And I'll be standing there. I'm like, you don't say. So it's really like other people that really have like no feel at all. And the things that I learn about you against my will, like, goddamn, I could go without that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had that happen. Like, we live where I grew up. I know there's been a couple times where it's like, oh yeah, I used to know your girlfriend back in the day. And you're like, shut the hell up.
One guy at our wedding was like, hey, I dated your wife in the 4th grade.
I just spit. I'm so sorry. That did happen. But see, that happens to me so often because they're so excited to just share this memory that they don't care if it's like going to make everybody around you uncomfortable. Seen you
in 10 years and we're going to tell old stories.
Exactly. And so that's kind of what and a lot of things, or a lot of people, they feel like because they knew you before I knew you, that they are like, important. Yes, yeah. There's like, well, I've known him longer. I'm like, oh, because you're a part of a repressed childhood memory. I sleep with him every night, but okay. Sure, he remembers you from 2nd grade, but tell me how unimportant I am.
The best is when people could, like, get online and tell you that, hey, I knew him in the 2nd grade. And then it's just like.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, well, I've had people from Ole Miss that, old. Like some chick messaged me one time and she's like, hey girl, I was really good friends with Lance in college and like we've lost touch, but like here's my phone number if you could give it to him. And I was like, bitch, a bitch. Like, no, not today. And I think I showed it to you and you're like, yeah, no, I don't know who that is, which good answer. You 100% did, but like, it's okay. So yeah, I guess I'm just anticipating it to be a little wild.
Well, just in general, you're looking at SEC football weekend in Oxford's going to be chaotic.
But I'm down for the get down.
What's the biggest football tailgate you've ever been to besides like the Super Bowl? Like when you went to the Super Bowl, like have you ever like?
I don't do this shit for fun.
Well, I know, but like you're like, so here in like you went SIU. So it's like, would SIU be the biggest tailgate you've ever been to?
No. I went to a U of I tailgate one time.
Okay. Big Ten.
That counts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you're going to walk into Oxford and the whole, they call it the Grove, is full with tents.
Yeah.
And when I'm telling you got like tents with catered food, this and that, like,
see, I love that.
There's going to be satellite TVs on these tents. Like it's.
And I like that people dress up.
They like to dress up.
My tacky self loves that.
And I think that's the thing with Ole Miss is it's like I'm not from down there and all that. So I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
But like that was like that's what you did when you were little. Like we're gonna see people our kids' age, like kids are like running around and like.
Do you want to take our kids back sometime?
I think when they're a little older. Like right now, it's just like they're too chaotic for like a lot of people like that own second houses in Oxford and stuff like that. That's like what they do on weekends, and it's like that's where they grew up. Ole Miss fans.
But that place is a vibe. Like
it's a cool little town and the way they do it. I mean, because baseball weekends are the same. Like you come in and they Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for baseball. We'll show you the stadium. It's pretty. They do it. It's a really nice stadium. It's a party down there on the weekends for sporting events for sure.
Well, I'm excited.
They like their sports.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. I'll show you the baseball complex and all that good stuff.
I want to see the library.
The library.
You got your library card?
I don't. I had one at one point.
You did.
I don't know where it's at.
Dang. We're going with the Vaughns, Lexi and Andrew Vaughn.
Which she went there. So I'm excited to have a person with me because if I had to go and just be social with a bunch of people I didn't know, I would again, back to that anxiety thing. And Andrew's from California, so it's a totally different vibe for him.
And then we'll get them on the podcast and we'll all rehash it. And it'll be so much fun.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great for all of us. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Okay. Well, this wraps it up for us. We finished our little corn hat story time game. Hopefully you got to know us a little bit better.
That corn hat came from Drew Storn. He's doing he got a bunch of corn from the Field of Dreams and is making bourbons out of it. That's where that hat came from.
Was that allowed?
Yeah, he bought it. He bought the corn from the Field of Dreams, and he's got...
You can buy corn from the Field of Dreams?
They're out there harvesting it. I'm sure you can buy it from there, yeah. He did it a long time ago. So, he was ahead of it. Even, I think he, from the game, that, corn from that.
That's a good idea. Harvest. It's kind of crazy they didn't think to do that, actually.
Up a bunch of it and all that. And I think some people got the idea after, but he had already has the corn and already has the proof that he got it from and all that. So he's doing a Field of Dreams bourbon.
Is it good?
He sent me a bottle.
Did you drink it?
No, it's one of so many, whatever major league, when you make your major league debut, you're one of whatever. And it has, so he gave me the bottle number of...
Oh, that was thoughtful.
Yeah, so that's kind of what he's doing. So I think he's making some other drinks with it and stuff, 2 seltzers and stuff. So
that's cool. Yeah. We'll have to play a drinking game on here, except for it's Wednesday at 10 a.m. So it's kind of an odd time to play a drinking game, but we'll make it happen sometime.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
Little day dinner.
Yeah. So that's it for us. Hopefully, you probably learned too much about us actually from this episode.
You're talking about childbirth, so yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you next Tuesday. Like and subscribe and do all the things and watch these episodes. Or else.
Yeah.
Or else my husband's going to kick your ass. Bye.